3 days ago, I was freezing without power, no internet, and surrounded over a foot of snow. Today, I am in warm and sunny Orlando, excited to welcome you to the inaugural Glass Expo Southeast. I am Nicole Rubio, and I will be giving you a look at the education, products, and more here at the show. Let's head over to the seminars and get started. Today's educational program begins with a glass and glazing industry outlook for the Southeast from Nick St. Dennis, Research Director for Key Media and Research. He provided a forecast of what the region can expect in both the commercial and residential markets.
2020, in terms of the value of activity that was ongoing, didn't actually decline that much. So we just saw about a 1% decrease in 2020. 2021 was a different story. In non-residential construction, we saw a 4% decline. This was due primarily to construction starts in 2020 that were declining, and there was kind of a gap there, in the end of the first quarter and beginning of the second quarter, where there was a lot of projects that were shut down or delayed due to the pandemic. In terms of the overall spending, we're looking at about a 5% increase in this coming year. We actually expected, because of the construction starts decline in 2020, I was expecting this to be a little bit lower, but it actually wasn't the case.
Next up, Stuart Jeske from JEI Structural Engineering talked about delegated design of glazing systems. He covered key design requirements to know and look for.
Part of those items that I really want to key in on is movement of supporting structure, including deflection from uniformly distributed live loads. So, in other words, what that means is that there's a beam. Whenever somebody goes over to a window system or a curtain wall, there's a beam that's on the outside of the wall that's supporting everybody. So everybody might be going over to it, at a parking lot and looking out at a parking lot or something going on. There's a beam that's underneath, and that is moving downward. That's the live load that is being distributed to that beam and then causing it to deflect downward. So that's part of the performance criteria that we're keying in on. So whenever we have beams that are deflecting inside the building, there's common details like this for inside of the building that we all understand with deflection tracks for metal studs. Not so much so whenever we get to the outside of the building for curtain wall. It's a little bit more gray in that area on how that curtain wall has to be able to allow for the deflection of that beam.
Other sessions today included Understanding Glass Railing Codes, Specs, and Materials from Mark Jacobson with QRA, and C-Suite Changes Coming in the Contract Glazing Industry from Attila Arian with Schuco USA.
We need to kind of understand, where does the market go? What are these converging, let's say, technologies leading us to? And how can I set my business up to be ready for it? So we are having a fragmented industry. We are having all these participants that are kind of interacting with one another. We have a very uneven distribution of risk when it comes to the participation. And we have pricing pressure. Utilization of technology is something that is really important. We cannot be only depending on labor, because there is this much only out there. And those qualified technicians, qualified installers are not growing on trees. A lot of it has to do, we are not utilizing technology to the extent that we should be.
Attendees of the educational sessions told us how valuable the event has been so far.
Well, I'd never attended one of them, and the topics that were being covered in the seminars were appealing, so I felt it was worth the trip down from Gainesville. It's 2 hours for me. So it just seemed like it would be worthwhile to come down to see what was being said. And here I am 2 sessions in and I'm learning things, so it's good. Very informative. The information that I'm picking up are food for thought, things that as a contractor I really never gave a whole lot of thought to. I'm relying on my engineers that are doing the shop drawings to take all this into account, and based on what I'm hearing, that may not be the case, and I may need to ask more questions of the design team to ensure that I'm getting that I'm covered as a glazer.
I think it's an excellent expo. I've seen some things that evolving that I haven't seen prior to coming here, so it's really been exciting. It's educational. I've learned a lot about the tempered glass versus the inner PVB layer that's inside of the laminated glass. So that was one of the things, and then I also was focused on the wind loads and the dead load anchor system in the curtain wall, that just being able to understand the difference in between the two and the stress that's being applied to both.
Glass Expo Southeast is just getting started, and you can still register on site Friday starting at 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Be sure to also follow us on social media and look to usglassmag.com for more news from the show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Rubio.